Hey, Happy New Year, everyone. It's Jenny Dildine, the LDS Mission Coach, and you are listening to the LDS Mission Podcast, episode number 81, 4 Steps to Create Anything You Want. I'm Jenny, the LDS Mission Coach, and whether you are preparing to serve a mission, currently serving, a returned missionary, or a missionary mama like me, I created this podcast just for you. Are you searching for epic confidence, ready to love yourself and to learn the how of doing hard things? Then let's go. I will help you step powerfully into your potential and never question your purpose again. It's time to embrace yourself, embrace your mission, embrace your life, and embrace what's next. Everybody, welcome to the podcast. Happy New Year to you. Here we are, 2023. I don't know, time's weird, am I right? Sometimes time feels like it's molasses slow when you're looking back, and sometimes you're just like, I don't even know how we got here. Christmas, New Year's, done and into the new year. How do you guys usually feel in January? I know for me, January can be kind of tough. January and February, I know once kind of like all of the holidays are over and all those little exciting things are done, and then we just kind of head into kind of gloomy day after gloomy day. I have to kind of be on to myself. I've never been like diagnosed with like a seasonal affective disorder of any kind, but I know that I have to be sort of on top of the way that I'm thinking and feeling this time of year and make sure I have my happy light out and all of that good stuff. So I hope that you are taking care of yourself, and also knowing that if you're feeling a little down, that it's okay, that it's pretty normal. I've been thinking about how our bodies, sometimes they're a little bit more primitive or, I don't know, animalistic sounds weird, but more primitive than we give them credit for. So like the bears are hibernating in the winter, and sometimes I feel like we kind of do that a little bit too. And this can be a time to slow down and rest and give yourself so much love and compassion. Now, some of you might be going one or two ways. You might be kind of slowing down. Some of you might just be gearing up. Some of you might be super motivated by this new year and what you want to accomplish. And so that is also a fun thing too. We're going to talk today about the 4 steps to create anything that you want. We're going to dive into that a little bit. But first, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my returned missionary program. You guys, if you don't have your returned missionary doing something after the mission to help them transition, it might be kind of a rough go for them. And it doesn't have to be me, it doesn't have to be coaching, but I have found that the majority of missionaries, in order to transition home successfully, are going to want something or need some help. What's nice is when you can just be the parent and you can just be like, yes, I love you. This sounds really hard. I understand. But also to get someone else on your team that is, an unbiased person that can give them kind of feedback and suggestions and actual tools and strategies to learn how to thrive after the mission. There's a few things that I see happen as missionaries come home. Number one, they learn how to sort of put their confidence in things outside of them. And so when they come home and don't have those same things, their confidence tends to sort of plummet. They also have had their decisions sort of made for them for quite some time. And I know that they still ultimately have their agency, but their schedule's been set for them. Their purpose has sort of been set for them. And so when they come home and don't have those kind of things to kind of draw from, that can cause some problems. The other thing I've seen is that the purpose and fulfillment piece, right? As we feel so fulfilled out on the mission because we have this purpose, we have something we're working towards. It's a common goal that we have with a lot of other people. And then we come home and we're sort of on our own and we can't really like make sense of what our purpose is. That's another thing that I see. Another thing is back to sort of having your decisions made for you. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what decisions or how to make decisions moving forward. So there's just a lot that missionaries kind of get accustomed to while they're out there that they don't have the same sort of routines, the same sort of expectations, the same sort of rules, and even like someone telling them what their purpose is. And so then they come home and don't have those things, and they can often struggle. So don't wait to get them some help is what I would say, to get them someone to talk to. And of course, I'm always here and available and have an amazing program for return missionaries too. But I'm seeing, I see it every day and in some of my own children as well. And so just it's something maybe worthwhile to start thinking about for your missionary that's coming home. So with the right tools, though, they can just navigate that so well and then end up creating the life that they want. So if you have any questions about that, about like my program or what I do with missionaries, you can, especially returned missionaries, let me tell you, you can go to jennydildine.com/return or hyphen missionaries to learn more about that. So yeah, it has been really, really fun to help these missionaries overcome that struggle and really fully embrace the life that they have now and then create whatever they want, which is what we're talking about today. The 4 steps to create anything that you want. Here's where I want to start with this is you are a creator. Okay, I really want that to like sink in today. Is you are a creator the same way that our heavenly parents are creators, the same way that Jesus Christ helped create the earth is what we know. You are a creator like them. It's in your DNA and it's what you're meant to do for the rest of your life and through eternity. Now, sometimes when we think of creation, we think of things like piano recitals and art and architecture and poetry and music and things like that. But I want you to think of creation like in a more broad sense, meaning I'm creating this podcast right now. Maybe you created a grade in a class that you're taking. You created a conversation with your companion. We're always creating. My kids today created a play date with their friends. Okay, we're always trying to move towards something and create something. Sometimes I think we start seeing our lives like a board game or a video game, that we're going to just like accomplish one level, do one level, kill the bad guy, right? Bowser or whatever. And then we're going to move on to the next level. And that our life is a series of like levels that we've got to beat and move through and beat and move on. Or sometimes we think of our life like a game of Monopoly, as like, if this didn't go the right way, we're going to go directly to jail and do not collect $200, right? But instead, if we believe this concept that we're creators like our heavenly parents and like Jesus Christ, then our life becomes more like a painting. And what I was thinking about just recently is that there's going to be like shadowed parts of the painting, and there's going to be lighter parts of the painting, and none of it is bad. And so I think sometimes even, and I know I talk a lot about this, but that like when we're feeling kind of down or unmotivated or something like that, that is bad. It's not bad. It gives your life texture, and meaning, because without those darker shadowed parts of the painting, there would be no like three-dimensional effect. It would be like my stick figures that I draw for my clients when I'm diagramming stuff, okay? So think of your life more like a painting. What do you want to create? What's the next stroke you want to add to the canvas of your life? So maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want your dream job. Maybe you want to buy a car or get more fit. Maybe you want to break a habit, plan a semester abroad. Maybe you want to get into dental school. Now, it might sound crazy to boil these certain like goals or dreams that we have into just 4 steps, but we're going to do that today. Okay? The 4 steps are: you have to desire or want it. Number 2, you're going to have to believe it's possible. Number 3, you're going to have to manage your mind. And number 4, you're going to have to feel your feelings. All right, so you will need to, if you want to get married or get your dream job, you are going to need to desire it or want it. Because people will say, oh, that's ridiculous. You can't create anything you want. Like, I can't be an NBA player, right? But what's true is if you're going to create something, it needs to be something that you want. Like, do you actually want to be an NBA player? I mean, maybe, but realistically, is that what you want? And also, by the way, it has to be something that is mostly within your power. Meaning, we can't make someone fall in love with us. Like that gets to be within your power. So number 2, you have to believe it's even possible. This analogy I like to use is if we were planting a garden. We wouldn't plant little seeds in a garden if we didn't actually believe it was possible that those would turn into plants and then bear fruit, like tomatoes or zucchini. Come this spring, we would not plant peas in the ground if we didn't know that they were going to turn into yummy snap peas. We wouldn't do it. We have to believe that what we want is possible. So you have to believe that you could get married. You have to believe that you can get that job. You have to believe that it's possible for you to make enough money to buy a car or get more fit. You have to believe that it's possible for you to break a habit that you don't want. And again, it has to, be within your control. So we might say, I want this person to become a baptized member of our church. So there's the desire. We believe it's possible, but also it has to be within your control. Like, we don't get to decide if someone is a baptized member of our church or not. That has to come from their thought and feeling and action. Or, I want this guy to like me. So there's the desire. Also, believe it's possible that this guy could like me. There's steps 1 and 2. But then it's not necessarily within your control how a guy feels about you. Or, I want my parents to show up differently and trust me more. Again, there's step 1. We can desire it and want it. And step 2, also possible that our parents could be that way. But when we're setting these goals for what we want to create, again, the way our parents show up is not within our control. Parents get to show up however they want to show up. So if you've met those 2 criterias, desire, something you really desire, something you actually want, believe it's possible and it's all within your control, then the next step is to manage your mind. Okay. If you want to, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. You can go back to episode number 57, Habits, Goals, and Dreams. And I think it's always useful, and I would love for you guys to always have sort of like a cloud goal or a dream goal that you're moving towards. And the way I describe it in that podcast is a dream goal is something we can sort of see that we want in the future, but we don't know what it's going to look like or how we're going to get there. So maybe like I want to be married is one of those goals that we could have. Like we don't know who it's going to be. We don't know when. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know where, but we can sort of make out in a fuzzy way what it might look like. So once we have that dream goal, kind of cloud goal off in the future, we can come back to the present moment and ask ourselves, what's the next step? Now, just a word of warning, your brain will want to know the whole path. It will want to know how. And I talk about this tons with my clients, especially those that are trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives and what major and what classes to take and what courses or certifications to take. And they say, well, this is kind of what I picture in the future. How do I do that? And the trick is we don't know the how. If we knew the how, all of us would be where we want to be already. So instead, we just come back to the present moment and ask ourselves again, what's the next step? So let's say you want to go to hygiene school. Maybe that is sort of the cloud goal, the thing that you're working towards. We come back to the present moment. What's the next step? Well, I'm going to need to do a little research. I'm going to need to make some applications. I'm going to need to take some massive action towards it. And we figure out what all those steps are, okay? And we can write them down. What do we think is the next step? How would I get into hygiene school? We do a little bit of passive action, like I talked on the podcast last week, a lot of massive action until we are into hygiene school. Now, here's what's going to happen. When you sit down to do the research about hygiene school, I can guarantee you that your lower brain is going to come online. There's going to be so much that comes up. Your brain's going to be like, this is too hard. We don't have time. Your brain is not going to want to. You can never be a hygienist. What makes you think you can do that? Your brain will come online. So here's where the two last magic steps come in. Manage your mind and feel your feelings. So always when you sit down to start taking these steps towards what you want, once you've decided that you desire and want it and that you believe it's possible, also within your control, then you just pop back and forth between these two things. When your brain says, this is going to be too hard. I don't even know if we're going to be a good hygienist or not. And where will we even find a job? Are people even hiring hygienists right now? In that moment, we can do step 3 or step 4. Step 3 is, listen, brain, of course there's jobs. Of course I can figure this out. And we think thoughts that create feelings that we like, where we feel motivated and excited. Okay, but half the time, you guys, your brain's going to come online and we're going to believe all those thoughts that maybe we can't do it, that maybe we're not good enough, that maybe no one is hiring hygienists. We're going to believe those things and then we're going to feel some feelings. We're going to feel sad, disappointed, unmotivated. And if that happens, then we just feel. We feel our feelings. Those are the two most important steps. Manage your mind, feel your feelings. In fact, if I had to boil down all of the work that I do with all of my clients is into two things. It's manage your mind or feel your feelings. If you just pop back and forth between those two things over and over and over and over again, it's inevitable that you get to your cloud goal. So let's say you decide to finally ask someone out on a date and you've gone on a date with them. Maybe you've gone on a couple dates with them and all of a sudden they're like, I don't think this is going to work out. in that moment, your brain's going to want to be like, we should never date again. I'm the worst. Why does this always happen to me? Then step 3 and 4, again, manage your mind. Like, listen, brain, it's okay. Like, look, I'm not for everybody, and we can change the way we're thinking. If that doesn't work, then just feel disappointed and then ask someone out again. It really is that simple. Now, sometimes we might need help with some of these things, our managing of our mind and our feeling of our feelings, right? Because that lower brain is super convincing. That's why I still have a coach, you guys. Amber Smith, shout out. I love you. She helps me manage my brain, and we can't always see in our own brains because we're in our brains. And so she helps me see some of my blind spots to help me kind of work through some of the thoughts and switch out those thoughts and some of my limiting beliefs and stuff like that. And a lot of the times also we just spend time like processing emotion. And some people will say to me, well, how do I know when it's the right time to switch my thought or to feel the feeling? And the answer is just when you're ready. There's no right or wrong way to do that. You'll just ebb and flow in and out of both of those all of the time. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. Again, let's go over those 4 steps to create anything that you want. You have to desire or want it. You have to believe it's possible. Again, that garden analogy, and included in here is that it has to be within your control so that you believe it's possible. Then number 3, manage your mind, that lower brain. And number 4, feel your feelings. And then if I would add one more step, step 5 is do step 3 and 4, 3 and 4 over and over and over and over and over and over again until you get the thing you want, until you're married, until you get that dream job, until you have the car bought, until you break your habit. Whatever you're working towards, just keep managing your mind and then feeling your feelings. Manage your mind, feel your feelings, right? And if you need more information on how to do either of those things, this podcast is chock full of how to do that. So go back and listen to some other episodes about how to manage your thoughts and how to feel your feelings. All right. You guys are amazing. You really can accomplish anything that you want to. So if that sounds like fun, something you want to do for this new year to set a cloud goal, totally do it and then practice these 4 steps. Okay? Everyone have the most amazing week. Sending you so much love wherever you are in the world. Take care. Serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can present a unique set of challenges. And many of those challenges you might not even see coming. So you're going to want a unique set of solutions. It's easier than you think to overcome worry and anxiety, serve the successful mission you've always dreamed of, and navigate your post-mission experience with confidence. That is why I created some amazing free goodies that I'm sharing in my show notes. Maybe you'll want to grab the free training for preparing missionaries, my video course for RMs, or maybe you and I should hop on a free strategy call. If you're ready to take your preparedness to serve or your preparedness to come home to the next level, then go grab one of those freebies. And in the meantime, no matter which part of the mission experience you are involved in, just know that Jenny, the LDS mission coach, is thinking about you every single day.